Welcome to the Wake Up and Unleash podcast for women who've experienced success but are now in a frustrating plateau, feeling stuck and alone. For women who are ready to take their business to another level without sacrificing what matters most, our health, our family, and our sanity. So, through real discussions and raw dialogue, we'll share tools and strategies to break that plateau and unleash your power and fire so that you can crush it in business and in life. Here's your host, Karla Sandoval.
Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of Wake Up and Unleash. This is Karla Sandoval, your entrepreneur and leadership coach. So, today we are going to have a conversation about how important it is to be crystal clear on what you're offering in your business. So, you guys, I've had a lot of conversations lately. And one of the things that has been coming up a lot, not only with myself, but with other entrepreneurs, and that is this concept of, are you clear about A, what it is that you're offering, and B, what it is that you, as an entrepreneur, what it is that you really want? So if you have ever had these questions in your mind, this is going to be a really important podcast for you. So grab your notebook, grab your pen, or if you're driving, open your ears, open your mind. And I really hope that this conversation is going to serve you and your business. So let me give you a little bit of background, first of all, okay? And that is that in business, I think that a lot of the times, most entrepreneurs, we have like an infinite amount of ideas and things that we want to put out in the world. There's so much that we want to support people with, so much that we want to help people with. And the reality is, write this down or put this in your mindset, a confused client will not buy. And a lot of the times, I know this happened to me when I was first starting my business, and this might be happening to you. And that is that we say so much. We're so excited about what we're offering. We're so excited about what we've got, to give to our clients and the marketplace that we just, I like to call it, vomit all over them on everything we can offer them and everything we can give to them and everything we can provide for them. And it's like, we're just like, oh yeah, I can do this and I can do that and I can do this and I can do that. And at the end, we wonder why a lot of people don't buy or don't move forward with us. And so let me give you a little bit of a story really quick, okay? So when I first started my business, so I am a little nerd. So when I was in school, I loved class and I loved learning. I still do. And one of the classes that I was in was my biology class. So one of my first businesses was in the health and nutrition area. And we had this amazing product that allowed your cells to really bring in nutrition at the cellular level. It allowed your stomach to really absorb it and take it to the cells. Well, see how I just said that right now? Okay, well, let me tell you what I would say. I would say this product right here is so amazing because it's going to inject energy into, ATP into the Krebs cycle of your cells, which is going to, and I would go into this whole thing like, people would look at me like, the Krebs cycle, what? What's ATP? Like an ATM? Like, people would be so confused. And I did this, one, because I'm a little nerd, and two, because I wanted to show them that I really knew what I was talking about. I really wanted to give them all my knowledge, give them all, I just wanted to give. Well, sometimes giving too much confuses people. Giving a lot makes them turn off. And so for the longest time, I sounded really intelligent, but I was not selling anything, right? A lot of the times I would confuse my clients so much that they were like, oh my gosh, right? Instead of just saying what I said at the beginning, this product helps your body absorb nutrition at the cellular level, which is going to help you have more energy and better health. That's it. Yes, like everything I said about the ATP and all that stuff, that's all true. But it's, write this down or put this in your mind. What's necessary to not say is very necessary to not say it. And sometimes we say things that are not necessary to say. Therefore, they're very necessary to not say it. Okay, that was a handful. Anyhow, so as I was going through my business, I had to learn to like simplify things. I had to learn, if somebody said dumb it down. And I never liked that because I'm like, well, I'm not dumb and I don't want to dumb anything. But what they meant was simplify it so that anybody and everybody can understand. Because here's the thing you want to understand. If we want to, and I'm going to give you guys today a formula on how you can get effective selling, okay, and how you can communicate effectively. But if you want to really be effective with the client, you have to remember that they are going to walk away not remembering a lot of what you said, but they are going to remember how they felt when they were with you. And if you're talking, AP calculus, well, they might feel, unless they're like a mathematician, they might leave feeling not very good about themselves. They might be feeling dumb, uneducated, inadequate, etc. Right? And it's not that that was your intention, but by you speaking a specific way, by you speaking in a way that allowed them to not understand what you were saying, it leaves them feeling like that. So I had to learn to dumb it down. So I had to learn to simplify things. So I wanted to do this podcast because I feel like this is going to serve a lot of you, especially if you're stuck in your business. If you're new to business, for sure, this is going to help you. But if you're stuck in business, this is also going to support you because sometimes we just have to remember what it is that we're doing. Remember the foundations. Remember the fundamentals of business. Okay. So grab a pen, grab a pencil, all right, or just open your mindset if you're listening to this while you're driving or walking or whatever, right? So here's what we're gonna do. The first thing that I'm going to ask of you or ask for you to think about is what is that product? Are you clear about that product or service that you're offering? Like, what is it that you're selling? Like, are you clear? Like, you got to ask yourself that first. Like, are you clear about what you're selling? What products, what service, what problem are you solving? So, if I were to ask you right now, what are you selling? What are you offering? Are you clear about that answer, with that answer? And if the answer is no, I'm going to invite you to just stop and take some time to really address that particular question. Like, what is it that you're offering? What is it that you're selling? Because if you're not clear with that, everything else is not going to make sense. Now you're just like going all over the place. But if you're crystal clear, then everything else is going to align. So number one is, what is it that you're offering or selling? Now that you understand that, number two, you want to think about what is the pit? What is the problem? What is the challenge that your client is facing? When you're thinking about that product or service that you want to offer them, you want to meet them where the problem is. You want to meet them where the challenge is. So you want to think about, what is that problem? What is that challenge that your client has that you can help them with? Now, here's the thing. I know you hear this all the time. Like, what is the problem that you're solving? But what I want to invite you to do is to really sit down. Do this later if you're walking or driving or whatever. But sit down and literally write down 3 to 4 problems that your current client is facing without that product or service that you're offering. So, like, where are they? What is the pit? What is the challenge? What is the problem that they currently have that you can help them with? So write down 3 to 4 things. For example, let's say you are let's say, for example, right, my health and wellness business. So like the health and wellness business that I had, or that I have. So one of the things that I would do, that I would write down, is like, okay, where are they? They feel tired. They feel bloated. They feel, they feel insecure. They feel depressed. Their clothes doesn't fit them. They don't feel confident. When they go to their closet, they're just like, oh my gosh, what am I going to wear? Like that. Okay. So get to that gritty. If you're a business coach, so maybe you're thinking like, okay, so what are the problems that your current client is having? Well, they're frustrated, they're stuck. They don't know how to, grow revenue. They don't know how to create systems so that they can have their time back. They feel they feel like the business owns them, like they feel like an unpaid employee. So like you want to get down to the pain that your ideal client has in that particular situation. So, number one, what is it that you're offering? Number two, what is the problem slash pit, challenge, pain that your client has that you're going to solve? Okay. So, you want to get really crystal clear on this because let me tell you something. If you can meet your client where the pain is, you're going to have a lot of connection with that client. So the reason I say this is because one of the things a lot of people don't realize is that they're not the only ones that are feeling the way that they're feeling. Sometimes because you don't talk about your problem, person like somebody's overweight, they don't talk about their weight issue. If an entrepreneur is stuck and frustrated in their work, they don't talk about these things. So because it's all sitting in their mindset, a lot of the times they feel very alone in the pain. They feel very alone in the pit. They feel very alone with that problem and challenge. So what ends up happening is when you come to that client or you post something on social media or you're making that proposal or you're doing that webinar or you're doing your sales funnels, whatever it is that you're putting out to connect to your audience, if you can connect with them from their pain, they're going to feel like seen, heard, like, oh my gosh, this person gets me. This person understands me. So number two is what is that problem, pain, situation, challenge that your client is facing? And the better you can connect with that, the more you can describe it and the more you can go there, the more connected your audience client is going to feel. Okay. So I know I spend a lot of time with that because the reality is if you're doing a sales call, if you're doing like a live, if you're doing a webinar, you're doing a masterclass, a lot of the times, and I know this has happened to me, we don't spend a lot of time connecting with our clients' pain and challenge. We want to go, I know I do. I want to go right into the solution. Like you heard a couple of podcasts, before I talked about how I don't like going to the pain because I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want to see people suffer. But here's what I finally am understanding. Okay. And that is that if we spend a lot of time connecting with our client, connecting with our audience from where they are that we once were, the pain that we felt, the challenges that we went through, the way that we felt nobody understood us, all of that, if we can go there, our audience, our client is going to feel heard and understood. So number two, what is the pain, pit, problem that your client has that you can help them with? All right. Number three, okay. What is the possibility that you can create for them? What is that peak? What is that solution, right? What is that possibility that if and when they work with you, they can have? And again, the more you can vividly explain and vividly outline what those possibilities are, the more, and here's the thing, the pain is going to have you be connected with them. But when you can take someone and connect them to what they ultimately want, you're going to have a lot of influence with them. So let me say that again. When you can connect with somebody from the pain that they're feeling, you're going to connect with them. If you can connect with them and then paint the possibility of getting out of that pain, out of that pit, out of that problem, out of that challenge, and broadcast a future possibility, a vision that they could live into, that is going to give you influence. So the reason I'm telling you this is because here's the reality of the things, and that is that most people don't know what they want. I've been there. When someone says, okay, tell me what you want, I'm like, and I start fidgeting. But then they're like, okay, tell me what you don't want. Well, I'll tell you, I don't want this. I don't want that. I don't want this. I don't want that. Like, for whatever reason, a lot of people have a challenging time expressing or visualizing what they ultimately want. And here's the thing I want you to think about. Okay. So I heard this and I was like, OMG. G. Okay. So here's what I want you to think about. If the majority of people don't know where they're at, in other words, don't know the reality of their situations, don't know the reality of, let's just say, in their business, don't know the reality of their finances, their business, the payrolls, the sales, the revenues, the expenses, they don't know the reality. And then they don't even know what they ultimately want. They don't know where the company's going. They don't have a vision for it. They don't know what their goals are for the end of the year. Like they don't have that ultimate goal. Then what are they doing every day? What actions are they taking? For what purpose? So I want you to think about this because when I heard this, I was like, wait, what? It's like, yeah, if you don't know where you're at and you don't know what you want, then what are you doing every day? You're just surviving. You're just going through the motions. Like, okay, well, I'm going to wake up. I'm going to go to the gym and yeah, I'm going to go to work. But then if you ask somebody, well, why are you doing what you're doing? Like, ultimately, what do you want? And I've been there. We just draw this blank look in our face. It's like, no wonder our life lacks purpose. No wonder our life lacks direction. Because the reality is, we don't know, number one, where we're at. We don't know the reality of our situation. And number two, we don't know where we're going. We don't know what we want. And then on top of that, we have nobody holding us accountable. We have nobody asking us, are you on track? Are you off track? Like we have nobody holding us accountable to anything. No wonder year after year after year, our life looks the same. Listen, I've been there. Like I like to say, one too many times. Right. And so when I heard this, I was like, oh my gosh, yes. No wonder a lot of the times I feel like I have no purpose. No wonder a lot of the times I don't feel motivated. I don't feel I have like a direction. I feel like, okay, well, I'm just like going with the flow here. Another day, oh, another week, another month, another year, all because I lack vision. I lack direction. I lack the possibility of what I'm working towards. So I want you to ask yourself, number one, do you know where you're at? Like, do you know your reality? Do you know your reality of your body? Remember, this is a wake up and unleash, growing your business without sacrificing the things that matter the most. Your body, your spirituality, your connection with your relationships, and your business. Like we're a full dimensional being. So when I'm asking myself, okay, so every time I go to my coaching program once a month, because I have a coach too, you guys. I actually have several coaches, right? The other day I heard somebody say something and I thought, yeah, you don't see value in investing, or you're having a hard time charging people because you don't see value in investing in yourself. So like you cannot ask somebody to do something you've never done. See, I've spent thousands and thousands of dollars on coaching and personal development and helping myself become more. So when somebody has a problem investing in themselves, I don't understand because that's not the world I operate in. Right. And when sometimes some people say like, oh, well, I can't charge them this much, or I'm having a hard time telling them it's this much. It's because you yourself have a hard time investing that kind of money that you're asking someone to invest with you. Let that sink in. So anyhow, so back to the subject. Okay. So you want to think about, do you know what it is where you're at? Do you know what you want? Because if you yourself don't have that dialed in, guess what's going to happen when you're promoting your product or your services or your business to people? You're going to have a kind of a hard time because you're coming from a space of uncertainty yourself. So number one, do you know the product and the service that you're offering? Number two, do you know the pain, the problem, the challenges that your client has? Number three, do you know the possibilities that you can create for that client if you solve that problem? What would be the vision? What would be that peak, that mountain, that thrill, that thrive, that success that they could achieve if they worked with you and got rid of that problem. So the better you can like picture that for them, the better you can communicate, right? That possibility for your clients. Now, step number 4, you want to think about, because now you created a gap, right? You've created a gap from where they are to where they want to be, from the pain to the possibility. Like you've created this gap. So now in this gap, you can now deliver the gift. You see, and I know if I think about the times that I have been effective in communicating and communicating my product or my service and selling this product and service, it has been when I have had the ability and the opportunity to really, really, really like paint that gap, open up the gap, because otherwise it's just, you're just pitching, you're just selling. And what we're doing right now is communicating and being effective in allowing the client to make a powerful decision to do business with us. So the question I have for you is, how many times have you opened up that gap for your clients? Or have you ever opened up that gap? Because the reality is, if you haven't, that's probably why you're having a hard time communicating your product or your service to the marketplace. And I'm saying the marketplace because this, what I'm telling you, should be how we do everything. Our conversations, how we should do our reels, how we should do our lives on social media, how we should do our marketing in our webinars, our masterclass, our funnels, our everything needs to be creating that gap from where they are to where they want to be or where you can take them, right? So then now that you've created that gap, now here is where, write this down. You're now going to present the gift. You're now going to present the possibility of being able to like reach that possibility. And that is by number 4 is by you establishing write this down or put it in your mind. And that is the principles. Okay. What is that? That is when I'm talking about principles. It's like, what is the way that you need them to think? How is it that you need them to act, think, believe? What is the mindset you need your clients to have to be able to reach that possibility? So for example, okay, I'm gonna give you an example. So if you're like, okay, let's just say, because it's easy numbers. Okay, let's just do numbers because that's easy, right? So let's just do business. Let's say your pain right now is that, that your business is producing, I don't know, like $1,000 under what it should be. I don't know. Okay, let's just say, right, that's the case. And you put all the consequences on there. And then you create the possibility, like a possibility of having systems where your business is operating with or without you, where your employees feel empowered, feel seen, feel heard, feel appreciated, where your clients, and you go through the whole thing, right? And let's give it a number, right? Because we have to have it measurable. And you're taking home, I don't know, let's just say for easy numbers, let's just say $100,000 a year, cash take home, right? So that possibility of $100,000 cash take home. Now, step number 4, what are the principles that I need this person to think? So one of them would be like, okay, let's just say, for example, that they need to understand, let's just call this person Bob. I say, listen, Bob. So for us to be able to reach this possibility, one of the things that needs to shift is that we need to create I need you to think about how important it is for you to have systems in your business. Because right now we're just working like, okay, we're like, like something happens and we're just like putting out fires. We have no manuals, we have no processes, have no systems. So one of the things that we need to shift is we need to shift our mindset in that things need to have a process, things need to have a system, right? So like that would be one of the principles, or 2 actually, right? And then the other one would be like, okay, next, we also need to help this entrepreneur shift his mindset on. I was like, okay, listen, Bob, the other thing we need to do is we need to create like continuous employee training, where we actually take some time, bring them together and say, okay, this is how we do things. This is how we greet a client. This is how we do this, how we do that. Like actually have assigned days where we bring our team together to give them a training where they all are getting the same message. So that's another principle that we need to implement, right? So like, what are the ways that that this particular person, what are the ways that what do they need to adapt, how they need to think, what they need to shift in their mindset in order for them to reach that possibility? So in this example, it would be like, putting together systems and really putting together the importance of how important it is. Sorry, putting together systems and understanding the importance of systems in the business. Number two, like weekly trainings or monthly trainings with the team. Number three would be like, we need to invest in our employees, maybe give them an incentive. Like, what are the things that that this entrepreneur needs to shift in order for them to reach that possibility? Okay, so that's number four. Number five, okay? Number five, now that you are communicating the ways that we need to start to think, what things we need to shift in our mindset. Number five, now you're going to lay down the path, the customer journey by them working with you. Okay, so what is the way that you're going to take them on? What is the path? What is the customer journey that you're going to take them on to reach that possibility, to take them from the pain to the pleasure, from the pit to the peak, from the pain to the possibility, from the problem to the solution? Like, what is that path that you're going to take them on? So when you're thinking about this, you have to think for yourself, like, okay, what are the things that we're going to do with this client to take them from where they are to where they want to go? You as the business person, what is that product, service that you're going to provide for them so that they understand, okay, yeah, I know where I'm at now. I can see where I want to go. Okay, I get the thing that I need to shift my thinking, but the client is probably thinking, okay, well, how are we going to do this? Like, how are you going to help me like solve this problem? Like, how is your company, your firm, your product, your service going to help me close the gap? And that's where I'm going to come in and go, okay, so now that, okay, you see where you're at? Okay, see where you want to go? Okay, we're clear about that? Yeah. All right, we got to switch some mindset things here. Here are some principles that we need to put in place. You see that? Yeah. Okay, now let me share with you how my company, my product, my service, whatever you want to say, right? How we at, Wake Up and Unleash are going to support you in closing this gap. And then you're going to walk them through your customer journey. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to make an assessment on where your company is. We're going to come in, we're going to, and then we're going to, my team is going to put together a proposal on what are the things that need to change, etc. Right. And you go through the whole thing, whatever it is, 3-4 steps that that you take a client on. For example, in the health and wellness, they'd be like, okay, so you see where you're at? You see where you want to go? Here are the things we need to start switching the way that our mindset needs to start to shift. Okay, you see that? Okay, great. Now, you see that? Yes. You want to move forward? Yes. Okay, so let me tell you how we would work with you. Number one, we would do like a wellness evaluation. We would sit down and we will see your numbers, where you're at, right? If you're a doctor, you'd be like, we're going to do some blood work. Like, what are the things that we're going to do to assess your health, your well-being, your physique, your physical, whatever, right? And then number two, then after that, we're going to make some recommendations on what are the products and services that we feel that would be best for you to ultimately reach. And then you say what that goal was, that possibility, that promise. And then once we get you on the program, we're going to make sure we're going to give you, like workouts and a wellness evaluation. It's going to also provide you, a customized meal plan. We're going to have group chats, whatever you want to offer them. And then we're going to give you a follow-up where we're going to ask you to please send in progress pictures every week, your numbers every week. By every Tuesday, we're going to ask you to send in all your information so that then by Friday, we are making an assessment on how your following week is going to go. And this way, we are holding you accountable to your progress. We see how things are responding. We see if your meal plan is doing, is achieving your results, to see if the workouts are having muscle definition in your body through your progress pictures. Like, we're going to make an assessment every single week if we're on track or if we're off track. So now look at that, right? I laid down the path that I would take a customer on if they work with me. Right? If you're a business coach, you would say, okay, here's where you're at. Here's where you want to go. Here are the principles and mindset that I need you to think through. Okay. So does that sound good? Yes. Well, let me share with you how it is that my company, my firm works with businesses. If we were to move forward, what we're going to do is, number one, we're going to, we're going to come in and make an assessment of your company, whatever. Right. And then from there, we're going to come in, we're going to go back with our team. We're going to do this. We're going to come in on a bi-monthly basis. We're going to give you some suggestions on how things need to be shifting. And then once a month, we're going to be doing some assessments on whether or not we're on track or off track with the goals that we're setting for ourselves, not only in our financial goals, but with our company, implementing the systems and the strategies that we are recommending. How's that sound, right? So now that's number 5, right? So number 4. So, right? So you're creating the path. Number 5, you're creating the path of what it is that you would be doing if they work with you. I know I kind of went fast, but I think you guys are getting it. Okay. So number one, let's do a recap. Number one, do you know what products or services you're actually offering? Number two, are you clear about the pain that your client has and like communicating effectively, painting that picture of the pain, the pit, the problem that you're there to solve? Number three, are you creating that vision, that possibility, that solution that they would have if they work with you and really describe what that solution would look like? Number four, what are the principles, the mindset, how do we need them to think in order for them to reach that possibility? Now, number five, what is that path that your company, product, service will be providing if they work with you? Like, how are you going to do whatever it is that they want to create? How are you going to close the gap? What is the path? What is the customer journey that you're going to take them on? Now, number six, you're going to pitch them. Now you're going to pitch the product, the service for them working with you. But see, here's the deal. A lot of us, and I've done this, we go from understanding the problem to immediately wanting to solve their problems and then telling them, boom, do this is what you need, and we just go for it, okay? Why? Because we're impatient, okay? All right. I mean, at least I'll speak for myself. Sometimes I'm like, okay, listen, I already know what you have. I already know what you want. I know I can help you. So let's just go for it, right? But here's the thing that I have had to understand. And that is that when you're just like promoting and selling and pitching, while it might work, it's not going to be as effective as if you take a client on a journey from them to understand where they're at and have them understand and see where they're at, what is their reality, and where they want to go, and what is that possibility, and understanding how they need to start changing their way of thinking, how they need to start to change their mindset. Then you communicate, hey, by the way, if we work together, this is how we're going to do it. I'm going to do this, and then this, and then this, and then this. These are the four, step one, step two, step three, step four, that my company is going to implement with your company, whatever the case may be. What is the path? Then guess what? Like a lot of the questions, objections are probably already resolved at that point because you're having a conversation. You're understanding where they're at. You're understanding where they're coming from. You're understanding what they want. You're understanding what they see as a possibility. What do they ultimately want to achieve? And they know that you are taking the time to understand where they're at and where they want to go. And then you're giving them counsel on how they need to start to change their way of thinking. What are the ways that that they need to start, their mindset change? And then you communicate with them how you're going to help them. What is the path? What is the customer journey? And you take them on this customer journey. By the time you're pitching them, you're selling them, you're closing them, they're already sold. Either way, they're sold a yes or they're sold as a no. They already made a decision. Because you're taking them through this frame, right, of them understanding themselves, where they're at, understanding what they ultimately want. By the way, like I mentioned, most people don't even know what they want. So if you can help them see what they ultimately want and help them see the possibility that's available for them, you're going to have so much influence on that particular person. Why? Because they know that you know their life. They know that you understand where they're coming from. They know that you know what they ultimately want. And then you start to counsel them on how they need to, what ways. Imagine, if you were to do this, then guess what? We're going to have to change this. We're going to have you think of this. And guess what? When we work together, we're going to do this, and then this, and then this, and then this. How's this sound? Great. Do you have any questions? No. Okay. Well, let me tell you, for us to make this happen, we've got a couple of programs available for you. We have A, B, or C, or whatever, right? We have a couple of products. You can do this, this, or this. But see, by that point, they're sold. They're ready to go. But so many times I know I have done this a lot where I just go straight for the sale, right? And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But then here's what happens. If I sell it to them and then I'm following up, I'm giving them like a follow up, or I want to continue business with them. A lot of the times I have a hard time continuing to do business with this particular person because I don't know what else to sell them because I didn't really take the time to really understand in the first place what they ultimately wanted. And this happens a lot, like a lot, where we like rush something, we sell somebody a product or a service, and then when that time is like ends, we don't have like another product, or if we do have another product to sell them, we don't really know how to promote that next product because we ultimately never knew what they really wanted. We didn't really know what they wanted in the first place. So I invite you to take this on. Do this, number one, with yourself. Do this for you. Like, do this in your business. Like, understand, okay, what's my pitch? What's my pain? What's my problem? What's my peak? What's my possibility? What's my solution? What are the principles that I need to have in place in order for me to close this gap? What is the path that I take somebody on? And then what is the pitch? What is the offer? What is the sale? Well, how am I going to close this particular frame, sell, product, service, etc.? Take the time for yourself to do this. And I challenge you to try it. I challenge you to implement it, not only in your conversations, but also in your presentations, on your one-on-one sales, on your webinars, in your social media, on your lives, etc. And I'm saying I challenge you because I know that it's gonna, if you've never done this, like when I first learned this, I was like, wait, those are a lot of steps, right? And here's the thing that my coach said to me, because I was like, those are a lot of steps, okay? And here's what my coach said to me. He said, well, he not said to me, he said to everybody, okay? But he said, when you do it this way, you will have an enormous amount of retention with your clients because you understand their world. You understand their pain. You understand their solution. You understand what they're going for. You understand their pleasure. You understand what they ultimately want. And you can speak into the pain. You can speak into the pleasure. You can speak into the possibilities of what they need to do to change their mindset. How do you need them to think? What do they need to do differently? Like, you'll be able to speak into their world. And when you speak into their world, they feel heard, they feel seen, and they feel understood. And a client that is felt, heard, and understood is a client that wants to continue to do business with you for a lifetime. So I invite you to think about that. Number one, do you have systems and processes in your business, in your life, that's going to help your clients feel heard, seen, and understood? Are you communicating this with your team? Are you communicating this with your managers? Are you communicating this with your employees? Are you communicating this with yourself? Okay. It starts with us, right? And understanding this and then communicating that to the team. Because guess what? Imagine your entire team understanding this process. What could be possible for your company? What could be possible for your team? So I challenge you, maybe you need to go back and listen to this again. I challenge you to draw this out, write it out, right? If you're interested in digging deeper into this, reach out to me. You can reach out to me in any platform, Wake Up and Unleash on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, like everywhere. You can go to, wakeupandunleash@gmail.com, like reach out. And I invite you to be part of our community. Wakeupandunleash.com is our website. Everything is on there. And you could see the programs that we have so that you can really get coaching on this and do it more in a more intentional, strategic way when it comes to your sales and your closing. Because I'm going to tell you something, at the end of the day, right? We can have a great product and a great service, but if we're not selling it and getting it out there to the marketplace, it's not doing anyone any good. And I heard this once in saying that when you don't offer your product or your service to somebody, you're really doing them a disservice. Because if you know that what you have to offer can really alter somebody's life and you're not communicating that to them, then you're literally giving them a disservice. So I invite you to take that on, put it into practice, write it all out, practice it with yourself first, right? And then, start doing your business this way and watch how things are going to shift. there's anything I can do to support you, reach out to me. Wakeupandunleash.com has all of our programs in there. You can send me an email at info@.com. And there's just so many different ways that you can get a hold of me. This way, you're not trying to figure this out on your own. Join our community, whether it's my one-on-one coaching or my group coaching programs, so that you can really start implementing this into your business and into your life. And like I say, I show up for you. My only request is that you share this podcast with 2 or 3 friends. Say, hey, listen, I heard this. I think this might support you, might serve you. Send it to them, right? Let's share the knowledge. And of course, if you can rate and share and comment here below, I would so appreciate that. So with that said, you guys, we'll wake up and unleash that person that you know that you have inside. And we'll see you guys next week. Have a blessed day.